Hartford Healthcare received 7,400 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as part of this first shipment, adding to a supply that already includes the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. One shot is all it takes. And one by one, a group of eligible people receiving the Johnson & Johnson vaccine Wednesday morning.
It's more convenient than having to return for a second one.
And I'm super excited to have caught on video my husband getting vaccinated. Now we can show our children that it does not hurt.
Hartford Healthcare calling a third vaccine a critical tool as the race to vaccinate continues.
More vaccines, our ability to increase how quickly we're able to vaccinate everyone and return to a better than normal state than we were in the past.
If we see what the two vaccines that we have on board now, the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, in populations such as, our nursing home population, the mortality rate has decreased exponentially. We've seen prevalence decrease exponentially.
The health system also offering choice by updating its online MyChart system where people can sign up for an appointment.
You will be asked if you'd like to schedule a messenger RNA vaccine, which is Pfizer or Moderna, a J&J vaccine, or you also have the option to pick first available appointment. And depending on which one of those options you choose, you'll see different clinic schedules.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be distributed through different channels across the state, including teacher clinics, community clinics, and the 211 system.
There may be times when one type of appointment is more available than another. That's really going to depend on our allocation from week to week.
Hartford Healthcare also set to launch Johnson & Johnson vaccine-specific public clinics next week at the Xfinity Center. And if you're one of those people who is having a hard time even signing up for a vaccine appointment, Hartford Healthcare says to keep trying because new appointments are added often. Reporting in Hartford, Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61 News.